Welcome into the colony. How are you doing today, friend? We're doing a little bit of science today. We have an experiment we're going to do. It involves regeneration of an organism. So the organism in question is called a Planarian. Basically, a Planarian, you cut in half and it regenerates. It grows a brand new head from the tail part, and the head part grows a brand new tail. So we've gotten a Planarian. We've fed it. It is swimming around doing A-okay. We're going to do the cut today and then watch it over the next couple of days regenerate. In about a week, it'll be fully regenerated, which I think is really, really cool. Let's first find our Jeffrey. I will tell you guys when we do the cut, so no worries. There is Jeffrey. Actually, he's gotten bigger. He's gotten bigger since yesterday because he had a nice food. Look at that little Jeffrey. Alright, I'm not doing any cutting yet. I will warn you guys when I do it. But the actual protocol is a razor blade. You use a razor blade to cut it in half, and then we leave it in Planarian water, which is the water that we're using, like the special pH balanced solution, and he will regenerate. What I'm actually going to do, chat, is he was in this Pyrex container. I'm going to empty this container totally right now and refill it with brand new water so it's extra sterile for him. I want it to be super, super sterile. I'm also going to use a new suction tube to move him post. So just to make sure that we have like everything as sterile as possible. Oh, and I need some gloves. Yeah, their immune system is not very good, Claire. Not at all. So yeah, yes and no, actually, Claire. This one's from a lake, so it presumably has pretty good immunities. But this organism and things like fruit flies, C. elegans, don't have adaptive immune responses at all. They have innate immune responses. You and I have innate immune responses as well. That's our immune response to certain bacterial infections. But they don't have antibodies, right? They cannot build up an immune response to something that they haven't seen before and be adaptive to it. They only have like the bare bones, like here are my cells that can do this kind of like immune response, and here are the targets that I know. And basically it's very simple. Is there a molecule that says self? Is there a molecule that says non-self? That's it. There's no like, if I ingest this organism, can I adapt and become more like immune primed, right? For like the next infection, could there be like a better immune response? There's some anecdotal studies to suggest against certain bacteria that, let's say the fly, like fruit flies is where these studies are, would encounter. Then there is more evidence to say like, yes, you can have a stronger immune response against it. But otherwise, not really, no. I'll be cutting the sample now, so if y'all want to look away, that's totally fine. I will adjust it. It will be out of focus because I will need to be able to see. It's been cut. It's been cut. For those of y'all, it's still under the camera. It's out of focus. If y'all want to see it, totally done. You can see he is fine. He's swimming around. They're both moving because they're both alive. And in fact, you can see there's no bleeding. There's no bleeding at all. There's no blood coming out. There's no hemolymph. There's nothing at all. He is like ready to go. They're both alive. They're both swimming. He's a little bit different in swimming. I'm actually going to take a picture. And that's it. He is going to regenerate, so you can actually see on the tail portion, it's already cauterized and like fixing it up. So great question, Theo. So it's clonal. It is clonal. Closer than twins because they're genetically identical. And then this part of Jeffrey will start to form a tail. Yeah, in a week we'll have two moving Planarians, two brand new Planarians here. Yeah, so they're genetically... So actually, Skip, they're even more closely related than you and Risto. So you and Risto are 50% totally identical. If you get even... ants are called super sisters. They are about 75% identical. And then... Oh, what is it? It's... Then these are clonal, and that's 100%. That's 100%. Look at that. It's totally sealed. Which I think is really, really cool that we already see that sealing behavior. Totally sealed up for the wound. Which is pretty cool. In the wild, they actually will stick their butt onto a surface. Like that it sticks. And then they will... It looks like they shimmy forward. And then they split. There is sexual reproduction that can happen. But normally it doesn't. It's like... With C. elegans or nematodes, nematodes are hermaphroditic. They have both male and female sex organs, but then there are occasional males that are born. And those males are very tiny, very puny, and their sole purpose is to introduce genetic variation. So they will then mate with the hermaphroditic female, and basically she will have an additional sperm resource now, and it will help diversify the gene pool. The same thing kind of happens with Planarians when it's kind of like they need a little extra. And it's tough. No one really knows what the signal is. Like, why all of a sudden they show up, like, in the population. Same thing, actually, Theo, there are parasitic wasps that are... So it's this unique term. It's called parthenogenic, and it's a species that is comprised of only females. It's crazy cool. And you might be like, Bullet, what are you saying? So these aren't like stinging wasps here. They're parasitic, so they sting like fruit fly larvae, really, really tiny, and they are infected with usually a bacteria called Wolbachia. There are other instances, too, of not even being infected. But they have a means of replicating. They only produce females. Occasionally, a male is produced, but there the males are actually sterile. So the males are kind of a genetic accident with the chromosomes dividing and splitting in the wrong way, versus it being a, like, you know, if they sometimes created a male and that male could mate and introduce some genetic variation, that's one thing. That male can't even mate. So it's like a total dead end. I actually worked with some wasp species when I was an undergrad that were parthenogenic. Super, super cool. Let's see. Thanks for watching SciAnts Media, and be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons to help our channel grow and support our science outreach and education goals. We can be found on Twitch most days of the week, and be sure to join us here for our next video. Thanks again, and stay curious, everyone.